Welcome back. You are watching KTN News Desk. We are just wrapping up the conversation on embattled Nairobi County Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko and the operations at City Hall here in Nairobi. In studio, I have Peter Emwatok, is the minority leader of the Nairobi County Assembly, as well as Abel Oyeyo is the political advisor to Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko. I'll just give you each a chance as we wind up. Which way forward for Nairobi?
Akisa, to me as a representative of the people, I've always said we have nothing personal against the governor of Nairobi. We're just exercising our sovereign role, which is oversight, legislation, and representation. And we will do it according to affirmation of our oath. And more to it, we will advise him. And I've always said this without fear of contradiction, that it's time the governor reports to work and provide governance to the county. Because currently what the governor, by name, is doing an oversight role. Record this, get this person arrested. That's the job of the CIDs, the police. Your job is to provide fatherly advice to the county. Let the county know there's a father that they can rely on. Now my father is in Mua. Now the designated deputy governor is in Toronto. Meaning now we are children in Nairobi without a father, not a foster father with a deputy governor. Now we are on our own. In short, we've been told, now you can live with your problems. As long as my security is not guaranteed, your problem is not my concern.
All right.
Therefore, I ask the governor to report to work.
Okay. Governor reports to work.
The governor is at work. We all know that. It's unfortunate. You know, after he went to Mua for maybe a 1 or 2 day rest, he's made it a big issue. It's not an issue. The governor reports to work every single day. And being at Mua does not mean the county is not running. The governor has appointed someone, nominated someone who should be vetted. If he does not qualify, the name can be given out, thrown out. The governor gets a chance to nominate another person, and then that is it. So let's not politicize what shouldn't be politicized. The reason as why people like him were elected is to serve the people and support the governor. But they forget the national government has issues. The MPs who are elected, Nairobi has 17 MPs. No one talks about what they do with the money they get, CDF and all that. They just keep on talking about the governor, the governor, the governor. That is why the motivation is not genuine. Again, all you have to do is to support the guy. That is what all you have to do. That is why you are elected. Support the governor, deliver for Nairobians like me. Don't blame the governor every single day, governor this, governor that. No, don't create problems.
All right,
support the governor.
We have to wrap it up. Thank you for coming in. Peter Emwatok is the minority leader of the Nairobi County Assembly. Abel Oyeyo is the political advisor for Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko. Peter Emwatok here saying that the governor should report to work and deliver to Kenyans. And Abel Oyeyo is vouching for the governor to be given more time to work. We wrap up that conversation on that particular note. Now, a woman is being held by police in Eldoret after she allegedly chopped off her husband's manhood. 23-year-old Erica Shidende sat pensively at the administrative police post in Huruma area as she waited to be taken to the Eldoret police station. The woman has denied committing the act and blamed her husband of alleged madness. She told security officers that her husband attacked her last night while asking her to leave the house. But speaking to the media, the victim claimed he was attacked at around 2 a.m. when he was deep asleep.
Mzee sasa hawezi ingia hapa, sisi mlalamishi.
Sawa.
Nafikanga tu wa mahali akitaka anaweza kushika tu, anaweza fikiria na kushikanga na nguvu kabisa kukumbatia. Ndio mimi nafikanga mahali hata mpaka naogopa.
Mumeishi kwa miaka ngapi na huyo mume wako?
Miaka 10.
Kwa tumelala ndipo hicho kitendo kitendeka. Isitukia tu mara moja nimekata sehemu yangu ya siri. Kushituka kuamka ndipo mwanamke aliruka nje na kuanza kupiga nduru. Akienda kabisa.
Nimestaajabu kwa vile huwa naona hivi vitu kwa television, lakini leo nimeshuhudia. Wakati daktari alikuwa anamshona, nishuhudia nikimulikia na simu ili aone mahali anashona.
Now, on the 15th of May, the spotlight turned to maternity wing at Mbagathi District Hospital State after an engineer recommended for its immediate closure due to the pathetic conditions that pose a risk to new mothers and their babies, as well as the hospital staff. The Kenya National Union of Nurses has issued their stand with regards to the condition of the facility, and they're refuting assurance by the Chief Executive Officer of Health that the building is safe. Here is Seth Panyako.
Press release that was done by the chief executive officer, CEC for Health, was very unprofessional, was uncouth, was actually something we can say he was actually planning for the death of the occupants of Mbagathi Hospital maternity wing. And we are saying we don't want such people within our systems. And therefore, we want to affirm as a union that the Kenya National Union of Nurses wish to inform members of the public, the patients, the relatives, the health workers, and anyone who, by any chance, finds himself near Mbagathi Level 5-4 Hospital maternity wing, that that building has been condemned by the Nairobi Ministry of Roads and Public Works engineer who is in charge, Engineer Karanja, that building is not fit for occupation, and I am sure patients are being evacuated. So we are urging our mothers not to go to Mbagathi until the issue of maternity in Mbagathi is resolved. I'm also telling my members, the nurses, do not move around that building. Stay away 200 meters away from that building. And likewise to other health workers, stay away from that building. If anyone wants to say to next to that building, please run away, because that is your dear life.
Now, in what would be termed as technology catching up with cancer, a group of young biotechnologists are introducing a new system of detecting cancer using a technique known as next-generation sequencing. Through the use of supercomputers, the process needs only blood test to detect cancer in one's body through liquid biopsy procedure, as opposed to the popular tissue biopsy that relies largely on tissue surgery. It has the capacity to detect cancer in one's body even when still at the symptomatic level.
Computer language, and now we can process and find if you have cancer or not, and also do the monitoring aspect of
generation sequencing is not very new to the world. It's a close to 15-year-old technology, but we decided to bring it to Kenya because it enables us to translate basic human genetic makeup into binary. And you know the power of supercomputers. I think we all know that. So the supercomputers enable us to diagnose disease and to find out more about various diseases and their makeups.
We're able to detect cancer from a tumor that is about 50 million cells. In comparison, a PET scan can only detect a cancer that has over 1 billion cells, and that is of a size of up to 10 millimeters. If it's smaller than that, a PET scan will not get it. But us, we will be able to get it and tell you the exact genotype, the DNA that is causing that cancer.
Here we are going on a specific person with a specific drug. We are working with a lot of thousands of doctors, thousands of scientists, putting data in a database called Oncomine, and then we're extracting out the data using supercomputing power and be able to match a therapy of a patient to a drug.
Now, about 100 homeless children lost their temporary shelter in Kitale's Lavington area after a demolition squad said to be from the county government descended on the children's home. Operators of the home say this is the second such attack that comes despite court orders and talks between them and the authorities to halt the demolition.
Tumekuwa na huzuni sana tukiona matrakta inatoka juu, wakati tulikuwa katika meeting mpango ya kwenda kukutana na county commissioner kuhusu hii watoto, na tumewasihi wawachane na structure za watoto, lakini ni ile wamekuja na kiburi sana, na tukaona tuwachane nao wafanye vile wanataka.
Unatumainia tutafanya nini? Sheria ndio hiyo tumeichukua, order zimetolewa, wamesafu county kuwaonya wasiingie hapa hata kesi itakaposikizwa. County yenyewe hatujui kama ni county kwa sababu wanakana kwamba si wao. Lakini kama ni tinga zao zimekuja kufunja, ni nani amesituma? Na kama ni county government, hao wako juu ya sheria.
Kama kuna anything inatakana kufanywa, tuseme na county government ama nini, wafuate sheria ili kama watu wamekaa wamekrab shamba wachukuliwe tu hatua ile inatakana ili watolewe.
Well, to another big story of the day, there have been various instances when the voice of the opposition has not been seen to be as strong as would be expected. Just yesterday, a raid at the former Transport Cabinet Secretary, Engineer Michael Kamau's home, and the scandal at the National Youth Service has been on the spotlight, while the Agriculture Ministry has sent home top officials at the National Cereals and Produce Board. There seems to be a deliberate move by the opposition, from what pundits say, to offer an eagle eye into the ongoing investigations. At this hour, we speak to ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna to get the opposition's stand on the various corruption scandals in the country, but we will also be getting the economic aspect of it from an economist that we have in studio. Felix Okach, thank you very much for coming in, as well as Secretary General for ODM, Edwin Sifuna. Thank you very much, Edwin, and I'd like to start with you. Yes. We have seen ODM has said once or twice, has asked for the expedition of these particular investigations. Where do we stand now with this?
First of all, I want to correct the notion that somehow the opposition has gone silent on the various scams that we hear. If it be the NYS or if it be the Cereals Produce Board. What has happened in this country is that somehow we as a country have collectively outsourced the protection of the Constitution and our freedoms and the defense of our country to one individual in this country. So that even if Edwin Sifuna, as the Secretary General of the party, speaks, people are still waiting to hear the voice of Raila Odinga so that they can say that the opposition has spoken. It does two things. Number one, it puts us at a very serious risk because if you outsource the entire defense of a country and its morals and its resources and its constitution to one individual who is a mortal just like me, there will come a day that probably he will not be with us. It happens to all of us as human beings. Every one of us must reassess our role in the defense of our constitution and the things that we believe in under Article 3 of the Constitution. Number two, following on the same, I personally have toured this country. I was in Kiambu last week, Monday, went to all the counties in Western Kenya, and after every meeting, we had a press conference there, and your reporters were there, and we spoke very strongly about the NYS. We asked the DCI and the ESCC to speed up the investigations, to bring those who are culpable to book. We have seen there are certain names that have been put out. We have had very shameful stories of suppliers who did not even know they were suppliers at NYS receiving money. And we continue to insist that these things are being done for and on behalf of somebody who is powerful enough in this government to protect those people. We want the truth on these things to come out, and we have said repeatedly that the buck stops with the president. But somehow, because Edwin Sifuna is still a very small person in this country, when I speak, even when I'm speaking on behalf of a party for which Raila Odinga is a party leader, you still say that the opposition has not spoken. Another thing, we are not the only opposition party in this country. It casts in very bad light to those other people who call themselves political parties, that in the absence of Raila Odinga, then there's no opposition to speak of in this country. And when we have been saying that some of these characters, we've been carrying them on our backs as opposition, they make a lot of noise, yet when there is work to be done, people like Amani, people like Ford Kenya, they are also opposition. All political parties that contested the election and did not win are opposition parties. So it is not that it is the responsibility of one man in this country to fight for all of us.
But I will play the devil's advocate on this. In past scandals, billions and millions of shillings, we have seen Raila Odinga stand up and take a stand on these particular issues, and it has been seen to pile a lot of pressure on the government. Perhaps this is the reason why Kenyans are now asking, where is Raila Odinga?
Raila Odinga is seated here now. I am representing his party. He is my party leader. I have just spoken to him now. He has sent a message that we have put out repeatedly. His stand on corruption has not changed. We have said, despite of a handshake or in spite of a handshake, ODM is the only political party that will not close his eyes to vices in this country. We have made clear that we will not protect any person who is implicated in the NYS scam. He has made clear, and the party has made clear what our position on corruption is. So we want those people, especially the people high up, at whose instruction some of these lower cadre staff in the NYS operate, to also be, exposed and action taken on this scourge that is killing our country.
Mr. Okach, economically speaking, this is not the first time we are seeing a scandal at the NYS. 790 million shillings in 2015 or 2016, and now it is in billions of shillings. I mean, economically, a precedent is being set. A pattern is being established that we are not seeing people being brought to book, hence it looks okay to do this. What will this mean to our economy going forward?
Thank you for that question. But let's start from the perspective that this is our country. We've nowhere to go. Opposition will be a government or not government. So they have to say, this is what should be done. So it's proper to do a diagnosis of the problem and then handle specific issues. Like if you look at what has happened to NYS, it's not just one person stealing. First, you should find out that what was the purpose of NYS? Formed way back in 1964 as a paramilitary unit for the youth. And it has been assisting. You remember when you have elections, you got NYS assisting you. When you got slum upgrading, use NYS. When you got the Solar the other day, it's our institution. You get me from there?
Yes, I get you.
So it is ours. That's the first thing. Don't just say somebody has stolen and then you bank on that. That means you are not addressing you are addressing the symptoms, not the disease. You got it? And even though, I remember, Mheshimiwa, there were times, I don't know when you went to university, could you went through the NYS scenario? I did not. I escaped it back then. So it is our country. No, from economic perspective, you can say, this is our institution, this is the money we're putting it. If it's getting wasted, what kind of governance should be there? That's the opposition should come in. You need a proper oversight. You need to look for fiduciary responsibility. You need duty of care. Who is to be put there? Mheshimiwa, you always vet people in these offices. That's the time to come in and vet that this is not the right person we need. So there's so much to be done to solve it. But to sit back and say so-and-so has stolen, take him to court, it will not assist. Remember, from banking perspective, now the governor of Central Bank, I think the Central Bank delayed. There were some banks which flouted rules. They're opening at midnight. Some of them were receiving cash over $1 million shillings, which is not allowed by law, and all that scenario. So these should be looked into. Anti-corruption should wake up at work. DPP, we've got systems. On opposition, make sure those systems work so that when you come to government, the systems will be there. But if you sit at the back, we from the economic, the persons, human beings, the citizens and economic perspective, we are losing. Okay,
speaking of systems, Sifuna, we are seeing new names this time round in office of the DPP at the EACC. Are you confident that this time round maybe we will see cases go through to prosecution?
I don't know about the EACC and the DCI, but what was most encouraging in the past few weeks is the decision of a court in the cemetery land case. That in addition to just fining people, at least there was a minimal prison sentence that was attached to the people who were found guilty for involvement in that particular scam. It is very encouraging. What we need to do is to just send a few examples. And previously we have criticized the EACC and the DCI for, number one, doing a lot of shoddy investigations. Number two, presenting the small fish to the courts and leaving out the people who are responsible for these scams. I can guarantee you that there is absolutely no way somebody low down there in the NYS can perpetrate such an obvious fraud without some assurance that they are going to be protected from a very senior office. And we all know these stories of corruption swirl around particular individuals in government. We want this president to stop protecting any person who's involved in corruption in this country. If we send a strong signal that we are not sending people to court just to satiate the public anger that something is being done. We want to judge the EACC and the DCI from the number of convictions they secure, not the number of files that they send to the courts. So I am encouraged from at least the talk that we are hearing from the new DPP and from the DCI that something is going to change. But at the end of the day, if there is no political will, and the withdrawal of that goodwill from the corrupt, and a signal is sent that it doesn't matter who you are going to go to jail if this happens, then there's nothing that is going to change. Number two, I want to associate myself fully with the sentiments that have been put out on the NYS by my colleague and my brother, the senator from Makueni, Mutula Kilonzo. And he has said that whereas corruption permeates all cadres of government in this Jubilee administration, the NYS has been like, it is like the cash cow for all those who are corrupt. And if you look at the functions that were put into the NYS and the amount of money that has been budgeted or sent to the NYS, yet they are doing functions that are essentially functions for the devolved units. We need to disband this organization, this entity, because it is just a place where people walk in and walk out with sacks of cash, and the benefit is not trickling down to the members, to the public. If we use the money that is sent to the NYS to build capacities in our county governments, to provide the equipment that they have to our county governments, to grade roads, to clear garbage, I mean, we should be able to see a difference. It is just too much. And
so you fully support the idea?
I fully support the idea by Senator Mutula that we need to do away with this organization. Yes.
And take it to devolved governments? Absolutely.
The functions that have been given to the NYS are devolved functions if you look at the fourth schedule of the Constitution. So really, the existence of this organization or entity is for nothing other than to provide an avenue for siphoning out of the public resources. Yeah.
The opposition is being seen as not putting a united front as far as corruption scandals are concerned in the country. We know that the ANC has released a statement. You've also spoken on behalf of ODM, but there seems to lack some unity in this that would have been seen to be more efficient, so to speak.
Akisa, the problem is that values are not always shared. We as a party have certain values, and we have said we are the party that is going to lead this war against corruption. We are not going to wake up those other people who should be doing essentially the same thing as a country, because we all love this country and we would like to see the end to this particular vice. It is not our responsibility to wake up those who do not see things from our perspective. Let everybody be judged on their values and the things that they do. Yeah.
So we will be seeing everyone working on...
In fact, I have told you when we began this program that it is the responsibility of every Kenyan. This issue of people sitting at home and saying Raila Odinga should do something about it. We are all mortal. We are not going to be here forever. We want you to picture a country where Raila Odinga is not there. What will happen to us? Who is this person that these so-called bloggers on Twitter will be crying out for? We need to learn that he has fought a certain battle and he has gotten us where we are. But we must all take up those cudgels now and do our part for the Constitution and for our country.
Let me come with a lazy answer. Lazy answer. When your senator, mentioned that disband NYS, that's a very lazy answer. Because an institution has been set there. It has done some work. It is helping. If an individual comes and steals, you don't close the school because the headmaster has stolen, do you? That's a very lazy approach. We need to improve on it. Since it was set up, it's a big institution.
But the issue seems to be the consistent stealing.
Which means is the person put there. For example, okay, KTN here.
The people changed.
If the boss is always stealing, you don't close the KTN, do you? You make the reforms. So when you say you're closing the NYS, young boys who are working there, who are getting benefits out of it, where will they go?
The truth of the matter is...
Where will they go? Thousands of young men. They are doing a lot of jobs in terms of slum upgrading. Some are being trained. Others are doing many other assistance required. So you don't say close it. Just say make the reforms so that you remove the thief and the thing works.
All right.
But what you fail to understand is that argument for creating jobs for these young people and all these so-called benefits we see from the NYS is a facade. It is the excuse that is used to loot from the public. We are talking about the same organization similar theft happening, the characters have changed. Last time it was Devolution Secretary Anwar Guru and PS Mangiti who were there. Now we have fresh people, but the same thing is happening, if not on a grander scale. So it has to come time when we look beyond the individuals and look at the setup of this institution.
All right, I want us to wrap it up.
NYS did not start the other day. It has been there since 1964.
Okay, it's a conversation we will definitely be picking up some other time. Unfortunately, we don't have too much time here. But thank you very much. Felix Okach is an economist, and Edwin Sifuna, Secretary General for ODM. Once again, thank you for making time for us here. I want us to take a quick break. Remember, 2:30 or in the next few minutes, Moses Wahisi will be coming in with sports news. So don't go too far.